Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Haley Gray. I'm the group owner in the Women's Entrepreneur Network. And I've got my friend Christine, and we're going to be talking about keeping it real, telling it like it really is in life, in business. And we were just telling more stories before we got on here. And this is part of being a business owner.
So true.
I
think, when you and I had been chatting for quite a while, we're up to something fun, people. You want to definitely be paying attention. We're up to doing something fun and crazy because
it's going to be.
The truth is life is not perfect. And we beat ourselves up about that. And we expect it to go from theory to execution really smoothly. And you're inundated with people telling you
it's going to be this smooth line, and you're going to go out and you're going to have 6 figures in sales the first year.
Or even 90 days.
90 days.
I promise you 90 days or 30 days or 3 seconds.
Yeah. And I help my clients, and you get your money back if you follow my processes for 40 days and you don't make at least $40,000 or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. And one of the things I have heard you say is you can do it once, but can you do it again? Can you repeat it?
Yeah. And this is always the thing. Haley and I share this in common, is the truth talk. We're truth speakers. And we're here to tell you, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So please take that with a grain of salt. Do not hang your last rainbow around a promise that is really hard to hit, because what they don't tell you behind the scenes is that you can hit the number once, whatever that number is for you, whether it's $10,000 a month, a 6-figure income, whatever it is, you can hit it. Trust me, if you have enough tenacity and drive, you can hit it.
Yeah, if you just forgo sleep for the first 45 days, totally, you can hit it.
It's like, what is it costing you to get it? And can you repeat it? And if you get it, do you want it? And do you know how to make it happen again? And most of the time, that's when, guess what happens? You get ghosts happening in your world. And I really, truly think I want you to create a stable, successful, thriving business. And we talk about it. Foundations are not sexy. They are the backbone of everything. And today, my backbone was, I was telling Haley, I lost water to my house. So I got up this morning, ready to start my first meeting, go to turn the tap, and nothing's working. And I'm like, wow, am I so grateful that most days in my life, that always works. Why? Because there was good foundations. Except for someone built a road that was full of misused engineering, and the road collapsed in a storm last night down the street, which meant we had no power or no water pressure this morning in our whole neighborhood. And I was really glad that it was somebody else's problem and not mine. But at the end of the day, it's because somebody overpromised, took some shortcuts, and had a consequence and a failure. And we want to stop that. And we want to bring the real conversations. It is about creating stability in your business. Not sexy, except we're sexy. We're sexy, right? Like, we're sexy. Absolutely. But we're going to talk sexy to you, which is the truth. The most beautiful thing I think is around is truth.
Yeah, totally. And one of the biggest challenges too is that, I work with a lot of people who have worked with super expensive business coaches, and they maybe hit that number once and now they can't hit it again because the foundations aren't there. Or I work with digital marketing clients, and I've been working on a website for a couple of months now, literally hundreds and hundreds of hours, because they've worked with a number of other developers. And I actually did this one myself because I'm a developer. And it was enough of a cluster that I was like, okay, you know what? The buck stops here. I'm going to fix it. And it's been a lot of hours. And they have told me a couple of times, I'm the nth developer, 4th, 5th, 10th. They've hired people from Upwork. They've hired people from here. They've hired people from there. Y'all, when I got my hands on this client and they came on and we started onboarding and we started growing their social media, I realized pretty quickly that the entire website, as I was touching it, was just like crumbling underneath us. So we couldn't set up ads. We couldn't do the SEO work that we needed to do. We couldn't do the pieces and parts that we needed to move forward. So they got it to work once, but it's so badly messed up that good luck with that. The foundations are shot. Oh,
Well,
by the
they
way,
think they delivered and they walked away and you paid for it. And there's a lot of that in the marketplace. And
yeah.
we want to tell you a different story.
Mhm.
You know, I think it's so important to know people who've been through the seasons, who have the capacity to build a strategy. Because the one thing I will tell you about business, you can make money in any economy. But what's really important as you do that is you do it with strategy, intention, and people who have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly to say, get off the crazy train.
Mhm.
It's not just the shiny object that will get you there.
Mm-mm.
And this client that Kaylee's been working so hard for, you know, is just, I'm sure, very grateful that she's got somebody to stick with her to build the foundations.
Well, and I'm not the guy that said that they were in the Ukraine and they get on and they've got a Ukrainian name and all the user IDs and everything else look like they're from the Ukraine. And the guy shows up and he's like clearly in Nigeria. And I'm like, look at that. You hired somebody and you checked him out on Upwork and you thought you knew who you were hiring. And look what you got. And this is real, guys. And they were left holding the bag on this website. And they were like, you need to talk about this on, your channels, because this is what happens. There's these coaches out there and they're promising this 90-day blah, 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 or this, I'm going to get this website up and it's going to be amazing and it's going to have all this stuff and it's going to, buy carefully.
Yeah. And also realize how things are connected. Like one of the biggest challenges the emerging entrepreneur doesn't yet know. Like you don't know what you don't know and you don't know what questions to ask. And I think that is true for all of us when we're starting. And even when we're experienced, we learn by the hiccups, and we're just trying to avoid some hiccups here. And that's why we wanted to chat about this today, is you've got to know how things connect. And you've got to work with people who understand the wider concept of business and how they're part of the story connect. In itself, that is what collaboration is all about. And I think we have a really skewed view of what collaboration is in business because people think it's horse trading. I know you please promote my event. I'll do your event. That's collaboration.
Yeah. And collaboration is, Haley, can you send out an email to your list and I'll give you 3% commission?
And we're like, that's not quite what we see as collaboration. It's this. It's conversation. It's saying, in my world, I help people with the messaging and the clarity, but I always start with the end in mind. The website is awesome. You need to think about conversion. You need to think about how you want to sell, what tools you need. All of that is the strategy of the business side, which I care for. But I'm then passing it back saying, we need to make sure we're giving Haley and her team, or people who are in the cycle, the channel, all the knowledge to execute well.
Giving them the pieces and parts that they need, and that transparency of, here's what I've done, here's what I need, here's where the gaps are. And a lot of times we're not taking that time to do that analysis or try to figure out what the gaps are, and I see a lot of people who are just like jumping from thing to thing, software to software. Oh, well, Kajabi said that it would be amazing. Or I heard on this webinar somewhere that, Kartra is amazing. Okay, it might be, but did you look and see if it actually meets your needs for what you're trying to do with it? Did you look at the features? Did you look at the monthly payment that you have to make on that and see how that fits into your overall business? And I see people sometimes who sign up for software and sign up for all of this stuff in their business and this coaching, and they're putting it on their credit cards. And it's like, yeah, surely I'm going to make some money any day now.
And it's a hope. It's a hope because you put money on the table. And what we hope to showcase, and just generally through the WEN community and the summits that we put on and the events and the people that come into this community, is we want to show how we're connected, and we want to respect each other's place to play where we excel, and know that we're thinking about the bigger story and the deliverables, because I think there can be a risk. Like, you do want to invest in your business, but you need, to Haley's point, be really careful about who you invest with. Have they seen not just the good, but the real bad and ugly? And if they have, how have they picked themselves up, both from a personal point of view as well as from their own credibility, intellect, and growing skills? Because whatever worked last year, and Facebook's a perfect example, it keeps throttling people who are spending a ton of money in Facebook. There's also some really good insight that I've got from one of my mastermind groups. We're saying, if you're posting and running your business on a personal page, you're going to be in trouble in 2023. they're gonna shut down that thing. So you want to be in peer groups. You want to be in the room where people are thinking about how are we connected? What are the gaps? And what I am so advocate, and we both share this phrase a lot in our businesses, how do we bridge the gaps? How do we take the sparkles off the table and give you substance? And the more substance you have, the more confidence you have in the direction you're headed, and the bigger focus on effort on the right things. Guess what, guys? You create a business out of that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kim. Yeah. I mean, it's so important to stay in the game and keep playing the game and keep working at it, even when you're collecting no's and even when everything seems like it's hitting the fan. Take the sparkles off. Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, my mother would be horrified because she's all about adding more sparkles, but I'm about take the sparkles off. Don't be so caught up in sizzle you don't have substance.
Yeah. And, you know, and I see it all the time. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were talking about the fact that I happen to have a bunch of outstanding invoices in my business. And she's like, oh, don't you have somebody to chase all of those down? And like, me and whose army? And, you know, it's like, oh, but you should be hiring all this stuff out. Okay, so it's really easy to sit from the sidelines and spend somebody else's money and say, oh, you should be. One of the lessons I learned in my previous business was actually no, and review the books weekly and stay on top of it, and those reminders and stuff, and be very, very close to that money piece.
You've got to watch your numbers. And this was one of the great highlights in the WEN Summit that happened a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, was, you know, this focus on the numbers. The numbers never lie. And yes, they can be interpreted, but you do need to know what are you getting? And the interesting thing I talk about, you know, it's easy for someone says outsource that. I hear a lot, outsource all of your admin. Don't get me wrong, admin support's really important, but they'll say outsource your sales because you don't like it, or outsource, you know, the web stuff because you don't like it. I must say pretty regularly to most clients who I work with in the early stages, stop abdicating responsibility by outsourcing it.
Thank you.
So
stop
you can outsource this as you understand it inside and out and backwards, so that you are still leading the conversation. Anybody you contract, you're responsible for setting expectations, getting what you paid for, respecting their services and processes, and ensuring it's a mutual relationship that I would suggest you're planning for the long term, not just racing to the bottom dollar with. But stop. I say it to my clients really regularly. Dial back what we're outsourcing. Yes, you do pay for my services, but let's dial it back, because you do not need all of that to get to six figures. When you were at 6 to growing to 7, yes, you do need a bit of an army. You need some things that are going to run with you that maybe isn't your strength, but you can outsource it when you understand it.
And outsource it when you're making money.
Correct.
If you are not making money, I will stand by this. It is not time. As a solopreneur, as a very small business, I mean, there are things that obviously if I was running a nursing agency and I had to send out nurses, I would have to hire nurses, right? Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of instances where we're hiring things out before the money is coming in, mm-hmm. and before we understand it inside out, forwards and backwards, and have decided exactly how this business of ours is going to operate, and we're outsourcing it, we're abdicating responsibility. I've done it. And losing a lot of money.
Yeah. And losing it too soon. And it's hard to dig yourself out of the hole. And that's something just to be mindful, you know. Yeah, you can, you got to decide you can get help. And I think help is really important, but careful of outsourcing. Help is important. And I always think when I'm working with the creative side, because I work a lot with my clients on messaging, simply because we're starting with the end in mind. And I'm like, okay, we're starting with the end in mind, which is what do you want your business to deliver for you? How are we going to get that? What's the revenue streams? What is the messaging? Who are the audiences? And we're working our way backwards. But then when we work with, web designers, or whether we're working with copywriters, it really depends on the mix. I'm like, they're expecting you to come with the answers to who. They're going to help you build the framework. That's their structure. That's the foundation. What do you want it to do? I can create you almost anything, but you must lead that. And I know so many web designers come to me saying, like, people just expect me to do miracles.
Yeah.
What do you want me to create? Well, isn't that your job? No. My job is to create the frame. Yours is to fill it with the right messaging, content, and strategy. And so these kind of conversations aren't happening. And we wanted to bring them to the table because the truth is you can absolutely succeed in any economy, but you've got to have foundations. And we've got to have the real conversations, which is it's not rainbows and unicorns.
So this is an interesting question. I started my own cleaning business in February of this year, had business cards made as well as my business page. I've had a few jobs, but not many as I thought I would. I also keep in mind that I'm just getting started. I haven't had any calls, messages, or emails for over a month now. Any ideas on how I can promote differently or another way to get my business out there? I've also made a few posters that I put out and still the same thing. Yes. Oh my gosh. Spray and pray marketing for the lose. It's all about the relationships. At the end of the day, it's who you know. So are you talking to people? Are you getting out there and shaking hands at networking meetings? People I know who own very, very successful home cleaning businesses, and some of my clients get out and they network.
Or join communities where you know people are looking who are strapped for time. This is going to be my tip. But yes, you need to be in the right room. This is my fundamental message. You need to be in the right room. So if you are hiding behind your screen, get out of it and go find a new room. And it is, who do you know who's cash strapped? I'm like, gosh, I know this is house cleaning and VAs are something I know everybody's looking for. Nobody can find. It's a really interesting disconnect because they're not in the same room. But go get in the same room, and it would just, mom communities would be a great place to go network. Because why? They're like, I can't keep ahead of the chaos between the toys, the flus, the schooling, that I can't get my 4 kids out the door. That's the reality every day. Could you come in and help me for once a month? I would be happy to pay for that. Yeah. And yet it's not about the materials you create that will drive your business, whether that's a business card, a flyer, a website. The thing that will drive traffic, you must create the demand, comes way before that. And that's where cart and horse are often out of sync in the business. So I would say the best marketing tool you've got, your lips and your voice. Talk to people. Real people, like real words, not just voice notes, not just behind a computer. But I will tell you, speaking is the fastest way to cash. And I don't mean formally speaking or presenting if that's not your thing, but saying, I am in business. First off, I am in business. Tell everyone you know I am in business. Don't hide this business, please. Number 2, then go tell people, what do you do that makes you awesome? And how can you help them? And think about their challenge, which isn't how to clean your house. It's, if you can't keep on top of the chaos, I could come in and help organize that for you. Oh.
Yeah. Make a list of 25 to 50 people in your area and reach out to them and let them know that you just started your business and you're looking for clients.
And when you have a client, if you've had some success, which it indicated from that post there, go back to people and say, I'm looking for referrals. Who do you know? Go make the phone call to them saying, I have cleaned Sarah's home and she was happy with her service. I thought she recommended maybe we have a conversation because perhaps I can help you. And here's some of the services I offer. And listen to what they have to say.
Absolutely.
It's simple.
Perfect. Tell me about the summit that you're doing, because this is something that's going to be perfect for you, Shine Time.
Yes, you need to be there. So one of the things I really started to feel in the marketplace was, one, I wasn't seeing collaboration out there. I was seeing a lot of backwards thinking about collaborations. Second thing, I thought there was so much noise about how easy it was to grow a business. And yet people kept, doing the hokey pokey, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and then going, why is it not working? And I decided we should have that conversation. So I called on some people I really respect in business, who are great business owners who've seen the cycle, who are truly heart-centered of, I want to see you succeed, to sit down and have a conversation. And this is a master class, a 1-day event. And what we're going to do is get the elephants out of the closet and into the light. What is the simple thing that is keeping you broke? What is the simple thing that is costing you financial freedom in your business and revenue? And then we're going to teach you. We're going to have each of these really seasoned business owners, Haley's going to be a guest star, to talk to you about what can you simply do. Not with bells and whistles and unicorns and lots of fairy dust and sparkles are back. What can you really do? And then what can you do in the next 48 hours? Because when you're an emerging entrepreneur, you have a lot of imposter syndrome. You're scared to get into that room, even though that room opens your future. What we're going to be able to do through the day of all these 12 speakers that are going to come to the table is give you one action item per speaker so that you now have the next 10 steps mapped out. And you have resources and experts who can guide you when you're ready. You can look at the priorities for your business and say, you know what, I know what that really said is that's where I'm at right now. Or, you know what, that's 3 steps from me. But when I get to 3 steps, I'm going to talk to Haley about this, because we are looking at how we are connected, all coming together because we know how we're connected to serve you. So this masterclass is about client growth, the number one elephant I see right now, which is 8 billion people on the planet, billions of dollars transact every single day. And I would say a big bulk of this community is saying, I can't find clients. And the answer to that is, I'm going to go join some more Facebook groups to promote my product, which is not working. It's not working. So come to this masterclass instead and find out what does work to grow your business from people who have seen the seasons of ups and downs, because we're heading into tough headwinds. But I will tell you, there's a market and you can succeed in it. So come, it's a free event. Haley's got a great link to register, and it's going to be on July 20th. And it will run 8 to 4 Mountain Time. Stick around at the end of the day. We're going to do some networking. This is your chance to meet and talk to people. And I will say, if you want an implementation workshop, make sure you come to the VIP bit, because that's going to be also, again, practical steps that you can implement today to get high quality leads that will pay you for your services.
Crazy idea.
I know, right?
I love it. I love it so much. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for organizing this. It is so much work to organize one of these events, and I'm just grateful to have people like you out here. Y'all sign up. I just posted the link again. It's up in the comments. It's in the description. I hope to see you soon. Take care, God.
Awesome. See you guys.
Bye, y'all.